Hello and welcome to the Family Business. I'm Joe Castiglione Jr. alongside Isaac Stoops. Today we got some really exciting news. Isaac, tell us the news.
Drake has been in camp with the Rams, and he got re-signed today on the practice squad a couple hours ago. So really exciting news for him. Excited for him to continue to do what he loves out there in LA.
That's awesome. Did you was he kind of nervous through all this process? Of course, I mean it's like it happens. It's like a time they got to make their 53-man roster.
It's a grind. You get 90 guys. It's hard to even make a 90-man roster. Then you pretty much cut it in half. And, anything can go wrong from, injuries to maybe it's just numbers. Not everything always goes in your favor. But he's, when the odds are stacked against him, he usually, figures it out.
Exactly. I like his odds, too.
But yeah, it's a great system for him, good system to develop in, great guys to be around. And a lot of times, being on a practice squad, you can end up getting activated for some games during the season and then, continue your career. A lot of guys start out there. So
well, he's got another undrafted, well, he was a late draft guy, but Puka Nacua, I mean, that's a guy who, in year one, he killed it.
Yeah, but exactly. I mean, I got where you were going with that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't know where I was going. Exactly what I'm saying. But in Cooper Kupp, of course, that's the natural comparison. But he signed on. You know who else signed on? HomefieldApparel.com with Sooner Scoop as the official OU apparel partner of SoonerScoop.com. If you head over to HomefieldApparel.com and use code SCOOP, you'll get 15% off your first order. And today they just released a video with these coaches' jackets. I sent a tweet about it. They are beautiful. I was hoping that they could just have one ready for me on Friday.
Hey, if it's waterproof, then we'll be good. I hope it doesn't rain, but
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to rain. But Home Field has a number of products. They got a lot of cool logos and everything, such as the retro OU logo, and then they have the VIP box that just came out earlier this year that's been very successful. And that includes a lot of never before seen items. But yeah, those jackets are beautiful. I was hoping they were going to just at least peep a little bit of the Oklahoma one, so I was going to get that little look. But
is there no Oklahoma one?
No, there is. There just wasn't in the promo.
I got you.
But it's really exciting. So if you want one of those jackets, those are releasing Friday. Friday's a huge day. Go buy yourself a jacket. Then go to the game, and then you're going to wear that about a month later. So I'm going to be wearing it. Just don't wear it the same day as me. Please don't.
Hit the tailgate, get a little loose, and then just hop on your phone, get you a jacket,
Exactly. A couple of beers later, those jackets, you might want to buy 2 or 3.
Yeah, hey, buy them for the fam.
If you use code SCOOP at homefieldapparel.com, you're going to get 15% off your first order. So head over there, get yourself a jacket. It's full of Stoops today. Of course, the news with Drake. We got you in studio each week. It's really fantastic. But guess what? We got Coach Stoops in studio. We just sat down with him. It was awesome. I mean, how was it interviewing your dad?
It was. I mean, I wasn't really nervous for any of these other ones except for in the beginning. But I was a little nervous for this one. It's just weird asking him questions because I know some of the answers already, but also I don't know. I just don't ask him formal questions like that.
Exactly, and the answers. If he wants to say the answers, and so
it had some good humor in there, and it was a really good interview.
It has some good tidbits. We're gonna have some good cut ups after that. So we just sat down with them, and we're gonna take you to that interview right now. Hey. Look who we found. This guy stumbling around. No, Coach Stoops, thanks for coming in. We really appreciate you.
Imagine me walking around a few days before the first game, right? But good to be here with you, Joe Castiglione Jr. Always loved working with your father. You know that. Good to be here with one of my sons, Isaac. Really good. You guys are killing it on your podcast. I'm loving watching it.
Thanks. Yeah, we're trying to.
Appreciate it. Loyal fan here. Yeah, it's just a little bit different. You and my father work together, and we're working together now. Just a little bit different mode.
The family business. I like it. You guys found the perfect motto.
And the logo, too, with the fedora and the visor. It's a real good look. Get some merch going.
Yeah, speaking of the family business, so Uncle Ron, Uncle Mark, Uncle Mike, you, and Grandpa Ron all, coached football. And so what's the Stoops family name embody in the game of football?
Say that again. What's it?
What does the Stoops family name embody in football or just in life?
Yeah, I think as much as anything, I didn't think we didn't know anything else. Mm-hmm. Everyone asked me what would I have done if I didn't coach, and my answer was always there was nothing else I was going to do. Is going to be a coach at some level, whether it be grade school, high school, college, whatever. And I think that was that way for all of us. We grew up, our father brought us as young guys to the high school gym, football field, stadiums, whatever, every day. And, there were 6 of us. So he took the boys, 4 of us, to help our mother get them out of the house for a while. And we would run around the court, run around the field, in and out of locker rooms. That was our playground. So we just grew up with it. That was all we knew. And luckily, it worked for all of us, and we loved it. And my father loved having us there.
Mm-hmm. It's cool growing up around that. And then I wanted to ask you about raising a family around football. And so you, of course, Mackie was born before you got to Norman, but Drake and Isaac were born in Norman. What was it like raising them in Norman, Oklahoma, and just around the program?
Well, it was great. Norman, Oklahoma is a great family town. It's a great college town, very welcoming. And I always felt relaxed and easy, even going out amongst the community. Everyone's always been great to myself, my wife, Carol, our family, and allowed us our own space, but always showed appreciation of the work we were doing. So, but then being around a program that has a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention, I'd like to say Carol, your mother laughs at me when I say it's like I never worked. She goes, yeah, well, when you came home and the stress on your face or how tired you were, like, I don't want to hear that. But I always loved it. And, but, when you're in a big-time program with this much attention, there is a lot that you have to live up to. And I'd like to think I didn't show the stress too much around my family, but I'm sure it was there.
It was never too bad. We enjoyed it too much, you know what I mean? That's why we wanted to come home and hear all the stories from practice and everything going on.
Well, or your mother brought you to practice a lot,
yeah.
So you guys would be jumping in all the dummies, all the bags, and you and the Venables boys, Joe C. Jr. as well. You guys would all have a pile of you over there, beating up all the bags while we're over here working.
Yeah.
And I'd peek over there every once in a while and get a kick out of it. But anyway, we did include, as you know that, Joe Jr., our families, our children, our wives, a lot to come by practice, to come by the office. That was the atmosphere I wanted to work in.
And a family dinner night.
Family dinner night every other Wednesday. And one time we're all in dinner at before the renovation, and while we're eating dinner, the video guys would put all our tapes by each door. So the linebacker drills, the quarterbacks, we'd have all of these tapes. Well, and these guys started running up and down the hall, throwing all the tapes around, mixing them all up. So now we had to spend a half hour trying to figure out where's the DB drills, or where's the defensive back videotape, where's the linebacker videotape, but that was just part of our family dinner with all these young kids.
It was part of it. We talked about before, actually we had the Venables boys on, and we talked about like one of the most fun things possible is being a kid on a bowl trip.
Yeah.
It's all the ballroom football games, just playing around the hospitality suite, meeting the players, like people you looked up to, playing around with them, the snacks.
Yeah. One of the better ones was because maybe it wasn't such a huge bowl game. It was a little under the radar for us. It was the Sun Bowl, which was a great bowl. And they do a great job, the people there. And but all you guys are a little bit older now and can interact more with the players. And you guys are playing card games with Gerald McCoy and all the all the players are out there. And it was a smaller venue. Our hotel was smaller, so everyone was around each other more. And you guys are every day after practice out there playing cards, playing games with all the players.
Yeah, I remember that being one of the smaller bowls because it was in El Paso. It was against Stanford, I think. But I remember it being a favorite because you just saw everybody more. You couldn't not see them. So.
Smaller hotel, and we were forced to be together more, which resulted in more fun.
And good performance too.
Yeah, it was great to win it, definitely.
So when you did ultimately make the decision to retire, who all did you speak to? Because you have a large.
I
tree
couldn't
of
speak to
coaches.
anybody.
well, who did you consult for advice?
No one.
No one?
That kind of decision isn't for just anybody else. Plus, as soon as you talk to anyone else, it eventually can get out. So I just did a lot of soul searching through the season, ahead of the season, and through the season, and just came to it myself. The more I kept thinking about it, I remember driving by the golf course middle of the season. It was probably late in the season. On our way from pregame meal to, I used to go by the OU golf course on the way into the stadium early, because I had recruits to see and things like that. So I'd come in by myself. And all these years, for 17 years, I said, look at those schmucks out there golfing on a Saturday. I get to go play a game. I get to go coach a game. I'm all nervous. I'm excited. I get all this to do. I get to do this. And then that 18th year, late in the season, I got to thinking, man, that doesn't look so bad.
It looks kind of
I
fun.
thought, I've never had that thought in my life. So maybe it's something that's God's nudging me. Maybe it's something to think about. And I started thinking about it, and I just thought I had done what I was to do here. It's 18 years, and I've loved it. I thought about, if I step out, can it survive? And I knew we had a very strong, complete team coming back, that it would be okay, and we could carry on like we have. Obviously didn't know what all was to transpire, but at the time it was an easy and smooth transition, and that's what I wanted, rather than upsetting the apple cart. And so I didn't tell anybody, not Joe C. Sr. I just, and then finally the day before we're playing Oklahoma State for the Big 12 championship here at home, I told your mother, I told Carol that I said, I'm thinking about this, and I just don't want you to be cheated out of, if this is my last game here, I want you to know that may happen.
Wow.
And she had no idea, and it was emotional. She wanted to make sure I was okay, and because, you don't come to that, and she had no inkling that it might be, that I was thinking about it. So anyhow, I reassured her that I'm fine, I'm good. This is just something I've been contemplating and want you to know, in case this is the last game I'm in here.
Yeah.
Being a competitive person, do you think if the results of that game against Oklahoma State or even the Sugar Bowl was a little bit different, it may have influenced your decision?
I don't think so. I don't base things on that. I think of the entire year, the time, the commitment, everything about it. And I just felt it was the right time. Like, God's maybe nudging me, for certain thoughts, and where do they come from and why fight it, And again, I felt I did my duty here and loved it. And it was just time to experience something else in my life.
And then handing the keys over to Lincoln, and then having to take the keys back for a game. Do you have any regrets through that process, or was that kind of just another great way to put a punctuation on your career?
I guess it was, but it was the only thing to do. I know there's a lot of feelings around the university and the Sooner Nation about Lincoln. Lincoln worked for me and did a great job, and we are friends and always will be. Work is work, and I'm not a fan, and I understand our business. So if he felt that's what, something he needed to do, okay. And I said that, and this program is bigger than all of us. I've said that before, and it's the truth. So anyway, it was the only thing to do. It was easy to do, not like I had to move back from Florida to come back and do it, I did have to hustle off the golf course when it was all happening to get showered up and dressed to address the team. And to me, that's what was the biggest issue with it, is making sure the team understood they are Oklahoma football and always will be. And to a bunch of young people in the room to not be disillusioned, to not lose faith. And so to me, that's what it was about. And also project to the whole Sooner community that we're not going away. Look, this is this is something we've got to overcome and deal with, but it'll be okay. We're a strong program. So all of that was going through my head, and fortunately, I believe for the most part we handled it as well as you could.
Yeah, I think
All you fans, and again, player parents, everyone, just understand, give it a little bit of time, and you're going to see this is just a little bump in the road. There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program. Coach Switzer, myself, or Lincoln Riley. And what I told the players is they are the program. Players throughout these decades, they are OU football. I'm noticing my beard was a little darker. That's only 4 or 5 years ago.
A little more grown out. It wasn't that long ago.
Time flies from it. But
that's the truth. The players, the program, that's it. And I'm elated with Brent Venables being here and the job he's doing and everything he stands for. That's, in my opinion, we're in a great place with him.
But because you got to coach one more game, you did have a pretty cool memory. I mean, I think a lot of Sooner fans kind of saw that full circle moment. We talked about, raising Drake, Isaac, and Mackey and Norman, but then get to seeing Drake catch a touchdown while you're the head coach on the sideline, and then Isaac on the staff.
Yep.
That had to be pretty cool.
It all was. I really appreciated the players embracing me coming in for that month. They don't have to, or they could have their – they had a great attitude about it and really embraced myself in what we were doing. I thought our assistant coaches that stuck around did an awesome job. Kel Gundy calling plays and just all of it. The guys were awesome. And Brian Odom, defensively calling plays, did an awesome job. And they stuck around, and Caleb Williams didn't have to, if he felt he was going to leave, didn't have to play, and he did, and played well. And so all of it was really positive, and to go out and win, to have a big lead in the first half was really big. In fact, I'm walking off the field in the first half, and big Toby Keith puts his arm around me, and he says, "Where's that team been all year?" So anyway, and then Drake catching the early touchdown pass, having Isaac on the sideline with us the whole month, but also in the game, being able to put my visor on Brent and pass the torch. All of it was great, and it really worked out good. There's Jalen Redmond right there that played for me in the UFL yesterday.
He just
How
got
about
on
him
the
making the
53
roster?
man.
I know it. He made the roster, so good for him. But and I love that moment with Brent, to be able to pass the torch to him. Again, I have just such great confidence in everything that he's doing and his staff. None of us do it alone. And, so I'm excited about the future.
Yep.
Here's Brent right here with Joe Castiglione and getting a pair of sneakers and being introduced. Yeah, it's awesome.
That was a pretty cool moment. I remember when the team came in and there was "This is Oklahoma" or something along their shirts, and I just remember that being a really cool moment. The whole month was kind of I wouldn't say a rally, but it was just like an energizer. It was kind of a trampoline towards the future.
Yeah, it's just it was unexpected, obviously, Coach Riley's departure, but in the end, we can overcome that and build from it and even be better. And I believe we're working towards that, and and everyone pulling together. And I think I felt early on when it all just transpired, everyone always woe is me, and I was like, wait a second, time out here. We're not doing that. This is Oklahoma, and we needed to change the mindset and the vibe of it all. And I believe we did it as well as we could have.
Yeah, we were talking beforehand about Coach Heupel in Tennessee coming to town, about being our first SEC game, and we were just kind of talking about some of the great players that have came through. And would you say he's one of the most important players to ever come through Oklahoma, and what he means to your 2000 national championship?
Oh, no question. I said it in my book. the making of a head coach that, we've had more, so many Heisman winners at quarterback and, national award winners, NFL players through the years and since I've been here. But I just mean we may have had more talented guys, but I don't believe we've had to me, he's the most valuable player of all of them because he was one of the true leaders to start it. He and guys like Rocky Kalmus and, on and on, certain guys got it started and had the mindset to win. And obviously, and the way he played. And I don't think there's a more important position than a quarterback. So, to lead us to an undefeated season is definitely, it just, he was a huge piece in getting it all started.
We had Jason White on last week, and he actually talked about specifically how Josh Heupel's work ethic of after practice drills and stuff, how he hopped in with them, and then Paul Thompson started hopping in with that, and like just how that's continued. So even something smaller in level or smaller in scope, like has transcended,
Yeah. Well, there's no substitute for work and hard work and refining your skills, your whatever your skill is, whatever your hobby is, you have to work at it, and whatever your trade, there's, that's important.
And he's shown that too. I mean, just think about his coaching career too.
Absolutely.
He's had some ups and downs, but just the overall trajectory. I mean, now he's, very successful as a Tennessee head coach, and, may have looked different ways at certain times, but, he's gotten to that point probably from those same work ethic and those tendencies they did before. And then also, you talked a little bit about, Coach Venables, when he left to go to Clemson in 2011, give or take a year, 2011, he maybe wasn't necessarily looked at as like a future head coach, at that moment. But what do you think in terms of like a tools or a culture or things that he was able to build upon in Clemson that were most impressive to you to bring back to Oklahoma?
Well, first of all, Brent's one of those guys who he'll run through a wall. He's going to outwork everybody. He's going to out-hustle everybody. He's going to have a better attitude than everybody. But also, he went to a really good program also that was building, and he helped build it stronger and better. And they won a couple national championships. And when you do that and you're the defensive coordinator, people look at you. It happened to me at Florida. I go to Florida, and we win the national championship in my first year. People started asking me about head coaching jobs. And so I was fortunate that I had several opportunities ahead of taking the Oklahoma job that I didn't want. And Brent, I think, was the same way, that he's like, well, I'm in a good situation here as I was at Florida. Why rush it? Why rush it and take one that's one of those ones you got to scratch and claw to even get, anywhere in, rather than wait for the right one. And that was my mindset, and I think that was Brent's, to wait for the one that fits you perfectly.
My dad always keeps me in the dark during the process. I mean, he's, as you know, a very cards
you
close
might tell
to the
Isaac or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so tell Isaac, and then Isaac might tell somebody else at the time. But he always kept me in dark during the interview process. People are always asking me, who's the next head coach? Who's the next head coach? Did you have any conversations with Coach Venables himself during the interview process? Or
I did.
I'm sure you had multiple with my father during that too.
I had some with your dad and some with Coach Venables, and early on, yeah. So I'm not going to ever get into specifics, but I talked to both of them multiple times, definitely.
What like goes into that process? Are you able to talk about like your process coming to Oklahoma from back in the day, since it's
not really. It was different with Brent in that he had been here for 13 years. He knew Brent was very aware of what this program is today, what it's been, and when I walked in here, I hadn't been to Oklahoma, and I knew what the history was, but the recent history hadn't been very good when I took over. So anyway, bottom line, there was just talking about what the potential was, and anyway. Just the things you talk about with an athletic director and the things you talk about with a head coach. Yeah. They're different, But I loved the fact that, Brent was the target, a target. I loved that part of it from the AD, and I loved it that Brent was interested because I'd known he had turned down a bunch of head coaching jobs. So then eventually the two married together.
And then when you came here in 99, like you said, it was kind of a similar situation. You may have turned down other opportunities before Oklahoma. But when you spoke with my father, throughout that process, what in those conversations inspired confidence in you, or inspired that you knew this was the place you wanted to be?
Well, I knew the success of your father, of Joe Castiglione, and his success at Missouri. And all he had done there. I knew the history and tradition of Oklahoma. I knew your father was very eager in wanting to reestablish that. And along with Joe Castiglione and President David Boren, I knew that was important, that this was our tradition and history of success and championships was going to be reestablished, and you need help to do that. I can't do that on my own. You need, first and foremost, not just great assistants and players, the support of the university. They have got to have that vision. And I knew it was important to them for that to be done. And I knew financially the struggles we were having at the time. If they invest in this program and we win and do what we're supposed to do, we're going to get out of this financial hardship and be able to support all these other programs. And fortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah. We were talking beforehand about, you've coached under and with some amazing coaches, all with different personalities. I know Mike Leach ranks somewhere on that list, but give us your favorite Leach story. I'm sure you have a couple.
Oh, geez. Oh, Mike, God bless him. Rest in peace, Mike. Miss him so much. Gosh. Well, the first week or two that I had him in the office, or I hired him, I hired the other coaches. I hired Mike. I didn't allow him to bring any assistant coaches, but I wanted his offense. And I told the other assistant coaches, we aren't having a conglomeration of offenses. We're going to do what Mike does, and that's it. And until now, that gets smoothed out and we move along and it's going great, we might be able to add some things. But not now. Well, we're not here. He's not here 2 weeks, and I hear all this commotion in the offensive meeting room, which is right across the hall from my office. He and Mangino are in a knockdown, drag-out argument. And I think Mangino's about to crawl over the table to go strangle him. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening here? So what happened was Mangino had talked about running the counter, a double pull counter that's popular everywhere. The double pull, the guard pulls the tackle. And Mike goes, listen, that's a really good play, but we're not running it. And Mangino's like, well, so-and-so, they're all, look at this. They're having success. He's showing tape. He goes, listen, that's really good for them, but we're not running it. Mangino says, all right. We call him Bear. Bear goes, I'm going to run it in inside drill, and I'll show you. He goes, you could run it all you want. I'm not calling it. So that's when Mangino goes after him. He goes, you can call it every day if you want, but I'm not going to call it in a game. So they're in a big squabble. So I have to talk to the two of them. Can we not just get along here? What we got to be professional. And then I had to talk with Coach Mangino. I said, Mark, when I hired you, I told you this, right? I said, we're not merging everything. And then he was great, and they never had another fight, and they were best of friends and close to the end. And but I was like, wait a second here. I explained this to everybody. But, of course, Mike's teasing him like, you could call it but you could run it the whole inside drill. I'm never going to call it in the game.
Poking the bear.
Yeah.
Literally.
There you go.
Yeah, poking the bear.
Exactly.
Oh,
he's not somebody I would want to get in a fight with either. Just a large human. Climbing over the table.
The pirate.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I mean, I know the college football world misses him truly, and, his legacy reigns on.
Well, it's such a huge influence in not just college football, in the air raid offense and throwing the ball everywhere, through high school everywhere.
Top to bottom.
Spread like wildfire through all the Texas schools when he was at Tech. And
we finally started running at Norman North. Before then, we ran the hell out the ball.
Yeah, well, my entire 18 years, we had certain patterns that we continued to use from the days of Mike.
Yeah, that's still used. It's just like a fundamental different way to look at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his coaching tree stretches. It's up there with some of the longer ones for sure.
Absolutely.
No, he's like he has his whole tree, and then he has these branches off too now.
So they're getting their own trees, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little bit, Seth Luttrell's from that too, from one of those arms of those trees, and so it's cool to see. And then I got to ask you, you've done a few things since you've retired, XFL head coach, and then in the media. Did you know right off you wanted to go into media, or did you make a phone call? You're like, hey, I kind of want to be on the television a little bit.
Yeah, no, I did the XFL and then the UFL now, and then Big Noon Kickoff with Fox. Great network, great people. Love the Fox crew. And our Big Noon Kickoff crew is incredible. Easy, fun guys to be around. I loved it. It was easy. It was fun. You're talking football. The only part of it that was a little bit challenging, which everyone would understand, is traveling. Is in 3 days, 4 days, you're on 4 different flights, because most college towns, you're either leaving from here a college town or going to a college town. You don't get to many college towns in a direct flight.
Nope.
So there was a lot of travel and travel woes involved in that, but the experience overall was fun. I wasn't necessarily just jumping at it, but they came to me and asked me about it, and I entertained it, and I loved it. Again, really like working with good people, and the whole Fox group of people they were incredible to work with.
Could we see you on a television again soon?
Who knows? It's probably not real likely, but who knows? You never know what opportunities come to you.
Yeah, no. And then we're trying to grow this show. We're trying to get better, each and every day. You said you've watched the show a little bit.
I have.
Can you give us some critiques?
No.
Give us some film to work on. We're going to watch some film after this. We're going to draw up.
I told Isaac a few weeks ago, I just thought you guys are doing great. You got good questions. It seems easy to you. No one, no one's nervous about it, and you got good questions for people.
It's fun, like connecting all the former players, coaches, even just people around the university. Like, because we've had non-football guests on, but it's been fun, just kind of everybody. Coming together.
Well, between the two of you, you have connections to everybody to some degree.
Yeah, to some degree.
And we're trying to explore even more too.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's been really fun to paint the picture. Staff, former players, coaches, current, former, everything. And so it's been really fun to paint the picture. And we're just getting this thing started, moving forward.
I can't wait. SEC's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I find it just amazes me that. Everyone, are we ready for the SEC? Look at our history playing SEC teams. This isn't the first time we're going to play an SEC team, right? Mm-hmm. I think we just played them a few years ago, Florida in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah. We did, and then
Spencer,
yeah, and then on top of that, Texas is ready, but OU isn't. I thought we beat them a year ago.
I think they forgot that.
Did that not happen?
That happened.
And
not according to the public.
Haven't we beat them 7 of the last 10 years?
That's correct.
So wait a minute. I just find anyway the narrative to me sometimes is I chuckle at it. Like, where do people come up with this?
Baseless facts.
They got tougher because they put the patch on their jersey now.
Okay, whatever. But yeah. So
I did have to ask too about the SEC. One of the SEC games that you did play and win was the at Tennessee game in Knoxville, and you did say in the moment, I don't know if it was in the heat of the moment or not, but you did say that was one of your favorite wins.
Well, only Joe, because, and it was at the time, told the players that in the locker room.
I remember.
You know why? Because we haven't had to come back and win in the last minute or two. Or in overtime, through my career, that didn't happen a whole lot. Yeah. And I'm not being boastful. I just mean, that was to come from behind, away from home, 110,000 people, and come, in overtime and win the game. You don't get many opportunities to do that. hopefully, fortunately, we didn't have to do that very often.
No, it's still out of all the games I've ever been to, I think that was like the best.
It was loud, didn't they? They set a noise record.
Oh.
For during the game with just the crowd noise.
My ears were ringing the whole time, and I remember I was doing signs for defense at that point, so I had to have Coach Mike all the way up volume in my ear too. So I think my ears were ringing.
Yeah, that's not easy. I Look at Baker here. Yeah, is that not?
We couldn't get the offense going until the very end, and then when it mattered most.
Oh, we struggled badly in the first half. We were terrible, and
well, it was 28-0, right?
Defense, no.
It was
maybe 13-0. Okay. Defense kept us in the game the whole first half. Defense played great throughout the first half and the second half. They held them down, and then finally Baker caught a rhythm. And I think, too, Coach Riley found a rhythm. This is early in his time here, maybe his fourth or fifth game.
Yeah.
And he hadn't caught a rhythm on our players and running the football, I think, a little bit, trying to run it a little bit more, all of that. He was just caught his rhythm, I believe, in the second half with Baker, and that made the difference.
What a backfield we had.
Oh, my gosh. These guys and receivers. You got Sterling Shepard, Dede Westbrook out there. You've got Samaje and Joe Mixon in the back. You got Baker Mayfield.
It was ridiculous.
I guess we recruited okay back then.
Yeah, 100%.
Defense too. I always think like Devontae Bond of like the last 10 years is probably one of the most underrated players.
He was a great player for us.
Because on the opposite side of strike, I remember like we were able to do so much things. With
Geno
those two.
Grissom,
Gino.
Eric Stryker, on and on. We had a lot of really good players, definitely.
Dom Alexander, Ahmad Thomas. I could go on for days.
I loved Ahmad. He was fun to watch.
And then, so a little bit with the media. Are we ever going to see you on Paul Feinbaum? You ever going to get on with Paul?
Yeah,
I would love to see you sit down with Paul.
I don't have any problem getting on with Paul Feinbaum. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You don't have to agree with it or like it, or you don't have to listen to it. So that's just up to you. But obviously, he got to be doing a good job. He's getting paid, and he's still on. So, and ESPN's made a lot of cuts. So good for him.
Yeah. No, I think that's something that's got to happen. George was on it a couple months ago, so we'll just give him the number. We'll make it. We'll put it together. And happen.
I don't have anything to hide from.
Yeah. Coach Stoops, we really appreciate you coming on the show and coming in studio.
Yeah.
I keep saying how much better it is to have somebody guest.
Absolutely. Good to love seeing Isaac. I saw him earlier today, so just get to see him again. Joe, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Tell your pops hi. I bet I'll see him Friday for the game.
Probably suited up. It's not going to be too hot, so he won't be absolutely dying from sweat. I don't know how he does it. But for everybody watching, remember to hit like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us help you. And then catch us next week with another edition of The Family Business. Remember to keep it in the family.